What up YouTube, it's your Amish Vapor here. We've got a little treat in store for you today. Today we have these subverter minis, and I'm not sure if you've actually heard of these before as they're pretty new out. What these are is a mixture between the Atlantis V2s and the Kanga sub tanks. They've took the best bits of one and the best bits of the other, and they've just put them together to create this. They look a little bit like the Kanga sub tank, but instead you've got 3 different slots for airflow, and they're pretty big. You've also got different airflow on your drip tip. Let's start off by chucking a few clouds at 50 watts. This thing absolutely chucks. I mean, it puts all other tanks to shame. It just chucks massively to the point that you wouldn't believe it unless you actually watch it. Where do we start? Right. This tank comes with a 0.2 ohm coil, which you can fire between 30 to 80 watts. It also comes with a 0.5 ohm coil, which you can fire from 30 watts to 100 watts. And if you ask me, any tank you can fire at 100 watts is pretty good just in itself. But even at 100 watts, you're still getting a nice cool vape out of it. You don't get that dry hit, you don't get that burnt taste, you don't get anything like that. It's just a really smooth vape all the way up. I think something that helps with this is the fact that they use organic Jap cotton in all of their coils that they sell, so that's another plus side as well. I will say this thing goes through juice like no other, but at the same time, if you're expecting to get big clouds out of something, you have to expect that. But on the plus side, this holds 4.5 mil of juice, so at the end of the day, you're never going to go through juice that quickly because it holds a ton of juice. I will give my opinion on the pros and cons, but obviously they're just based on my opinions. First of all, let's start off with the cons. The only con that I can actually think of is we were testing this, passing it around 3 of us constantly for about 10-15 minutes, and we were trying to get a dry hit out of it because we thought at some point you've got to get a dry hit. But as it was, we were passing it around, taking as many puffs as we could as possible within the space of 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, it got reasonably hot, but what it did is on the device, which you can see, it came up short. And we thought, well, what's going on there? We left it for about 30 seconds or a minute, tried it again, it was back to normal. So that would probably be the only con that I can find to this. On the plus side, the pros, they're pretty much endless. Start off with drip tip. It's a very nice drip tip. It also comes with 2 options for the airflow there, so you can cut it off, you can keep it open, whatever. That's the first one. Not just that, it's that size. Well, I don't know what the size is. It's 510, I believe, which means that you can actually allow yourself to put other types of drip tips in if you want to customize it a bit and make it a bit more personal to yourself. Another pro, like I said, it holds 4.5 ml of juice, which is it's a lot of juice, let's be honest. Another pro, it's got 3 different slots for your airflow, which is good. They're also pretty big, so it's not like you've got 3 little sections, you've got 3 massive sections, so you've got the option to run it at crazy high holes there. Like I said, it runs from, with the 0.5 ohm coil, it runs from 30 watts to 100 watts. At the minute, this is only being fired at 50 watts, so the clouds that you've been seeing is on 50 watts. I mean, let me show you what it is when you turn it all the way up. This thing just chucks like a beast. It really does. Oh. Another plus side, You can use the Atlantis V2 coils in this, so if you haven't got any spare and you've got an old V2 or whatever, you can take the coil of that, chuck it in this. But the main bit I like about that factor is the fact that the Atlantis V2s have now brought out the nickel coils. So if you wanted to, you could put a nickel coil in this, run it at a heat temperature device, and rather than just trying to chuck plumes of clouds, you can actually get a very decent flavour off it. Which, in my opinion, is absolutely amazing, because I don't know a device where you can get that much vapour and flavour at the same time. We haven't actually sold one of these yet, as we've literally just got them in stock. But I can tell you now, these are going to sell like hotcakes at a granny convention. They really will. So if you want to get these, I suggest you get on down to Island Vape UK, because we've got an amazing deal on them at the minute. I believe they're being sold at £33, which if you compare that to prices of other tanks, it is nothing. Back to the coils. I don't know if you can see, but if I compare this to an Atlantis V2 coil, as essentially they're exactly the same coil but just made by a different company, the holes in which the juice flows through are absolutely massive. So obviously that's where it allows you to get massive clouds, because there is always juice running to the coil. And to be honest, that's probably the reason why we're not getting dry hits off it, because it's got massive holes in there. You've got the juice, and it's allowed. Sorry guys, you can allow it to run through, so there is always juice in that Jap cotton. As well as having this video on YouTube, we'll also be putting a video of this up on Facebook on our group. So it would be lovely to get your comments on it, if you can compare it to something that you've got or anything like that. We would love to see your comments on it and see whether you like it, different things like that. Just get your opinions on it, if I'm honest. But yeah, like I say, I will leave you with that image. Amish over and out.